The fog off the lake clung to the iron gates of Kingswood Estates like a wet blanket. It was 0500 hours, too early for the millionaires inside to be awake, but right on time for the working class. A battered 1998 Ford pickup rattled to a stop at the security booth. The engine coughed blue smoke, vibrating so hard the side mirrors shook. Inside sat a man with hands stained by grease, wearing faded Carhartt cargo pants and a hoodie pulled low over his eyes. The security guard, a young kid named Miller, didn't even look up from his Nintendo Switch. He barely slid the glass window open an inch. "Deliveries in the back in trance," Miller muttered, bored. "Not a delivery," the man said. His voice was like gravel grinding in a mixer. "I'm the new transfer for the maintenance department." Miller scoffed, finally looking up. He looked at the rusted truck, then at the man's rough face. "Great. Another one. We just fired the last guy for stealing copper wire. Hope you fixed toilets faster than him. Park round the back, near the dumpsters. The HOA president doesn't like seeing junk trucks on the main drive." The man didn't argue. He didn't explain that the truck was a restoration project he loved. He didn't mention that he had driven convoys through Baghdad when Miller was in diapers. He just shifted gears and drove in. His eyes scanned the perimeter fence, noting the rusted sensors and the blind spots in the cameras, with a precision that didn't belong to a janitor. No one knew the truth. The new guy wasn't a janitor. He was Colonel Jack Sterling, a retired logistics and infrastructure commander who had rebuilt entire cities in war zones. He had managed billion-dollar budgets and commanded 5,000 troops. And he wasn't here to fix toilets. He had secretly bought the management company that ran this neighborhood. He was here to evaluate the Kingswood Estates from the inside out and decide who deserved to keep their jobs. Before we see how the Colonel exposes them, tell us in the comments. Have you ever been treated poorly by someone just because of the job you were doing? Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Let's get into the story. Jack Sterling had spent 30 years in the Army Corps of Engineers. He built bridges under fire and hospitals in deserts. But that morning, he walked into the Kingswood HOA office holding a plastic bucket and a mop. He had chosen this disguise carefully. The board of directors had hired his private firm to audit the neighborhood's failing management. But Jack hated spreadsheets. He liked to see the dirt himself. The HOA office smelled of expensive perfume and stress. Phones were ringing off the hook. Files were piled high on desks like barricades. In the center of the chaos stood Karen, the HOA manager. She was wearing a suit that cost more than Jack's truck, and she was currently screaming at a terrified receptionist. "I don't care if the printer is jammed. Jessica, fix it. I have 50 violation notices to mail out by noon. If that toner isn't replaced in 5 minutes, you can pay for it out of your salary." She spun around on her heel and almost collided with Jack. She looked him up and down with a look of pure disgust, wrinkling her nose as if he smelled like sewage. "You," she snapped. "Who are you?" "New maintenance transfer, ma'am," Jack said softly, lowering his head. "Name's Jack." "I didn't ask for your life story," she interrupted. "Look at this floor. It's filthy. There are scuff marks everywhere. Clean it. And after that, scrub the lobby bathroom. The governor might be attending the annual gala this weekend. And I want this place smelling like lavender, not whatever you smell like." "Yes, ma'am," Jack said, reporting for duty. "Don't salute me or whatever you people do," she sneered, turning back to her phone. "Just be invisible. Don't talk to the residents. Don't look them in the eye. You are here to clean, not to socialize." Jack spent the first week being invisible. He cleaned floors until they shone. He picked up trash from the manicured Lonswell residents, walked past him as if he were a ghost. He ate his lunch by the dumpsters. But while he worked, he watched. He was gathering intel. He saw the rot beneath the luxury. He saw Karen charging residents $500 a month for premium security. Yet he noticed the server room was unlocked and half the cameras were dummies. He saw the maintenance budget being drained. The ledger said $50,000 for landscaping, but the retaining wall by the creek was collapsing. But mostly, he saw the frustration of the good people working under a tyrant. It was late Tuesday evening. The office lights were dimmed. Jack was emptying the recycling bins in the back office. He heard sobbing coming from the accounting cubicle. He peeked around the corner. Sarah, the young accountant fresh out of college, was buried under a mountain of invoices, her head in her hands. Jack knocked gently on the cubicle wall with his broom handle. "Rough night, miss." Sarah jumped, wiping her eyes quickly. "Oh, you startled me. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm going to be fired." "Why's that?" Jack asked, leaning on his broom. "The numbers don't add up," she whispered, terrified. "The maintenance funds are missing. The system says we spent $80,000 on gate repairs and office decor last quarter. But the money is gone, and the gate is still broken. I can't find the receipts. Karen says if I don't balance the books by Friday, she'll report me for embezzlement." Jack stepped closer. He looked at the open spreadsheet on her monitor. It was a mess of numbers. But to a man who had tracked supply drops across 3 continents, it was a simple map. "Pull up the vendor list," Jack said quietly. "What?" Sarah blinked. "The vendor list. Look at the tax ID numbers for the gate repair company and the interior design firm." Sarah hesitated, then clicked the mouse. "Okay, here they are. Look closer." Jack pointed with a gloved finger. "They have different names, but the tax ID numbers match. And look at the billing address. It's a P.O. box in the Cayman Islands." Sarah gasped. They're the same company. "It's a shell corporation," Jack explained calmly. "It's a classic layering technique. Someone is creating fake invoices to siphon money out of the operating budget. The money isn't lost, Sarah. It was stolen." Sarah stared at him, her mouth open. She looked at his dirty cargo pants, then back at his eyes, which were sharp and intelligent. "How? You're a janitor. How do you know forensic accounting?" Jack shrugged, adjusting his cap. "I used to track fuel shipments in the desert. Thieves always make the same mistake. They get greedy with the paperwork. Print that list, Sarah. Keep a copy at home. You're not crazy." He walked away before she could ask more, leaving her staring at the screen with new hope. 2 days later, chaos erupted at the main entrance. It was 5 p.m., rush hour. A line of luxury cars, BMWs, Teslas, Range Rovers, was backed up for a mile down the main road. Horns were blaring. Residents were screaming out of their windows. The main iron gate was stuck halfway open, twitching violently. Karen was standing in the middle of the road, screaming at Riley, the lead mechanic. "Open it. Just force it open," she shrieked, her face red. "I can't," Riley yelled back, sweat pouring down his face. "The hydraulic arm is seized. It's jammed. We need a crane to lift it off the hinges." "I don't pay you for excuses," Karen yelled. "I have board members sitting in traffic. If this gate isn't open in 10 minutes, don't bother coming to work tomorrow." Riley looked ready to cry. He was slamming a wrench against the motor housing in desperation. Jack walked up from the sidewalk, carrying a small, rusty toolbox. He didn't look at Karen. He didn't look at the angry residents. He looked at the gate mechanism. He listened to the hum of the motor, a high-pitched whine. "It's not seized," Jack said. His voice cut through the noise like a command. Riley looked up. "Jack? Man, get out of here. Go back to the mop. She's in a mood." "The motor is whining at a high frequency," Jack said, kneeling down. "That means the piston is trying to push, but the safety protocol is fighting it." "Safety protocol?" Riley wiped grease from his eyes. The laser sensor. Jack pointed to a small black lens near the ground. It's misaligned by maybe 2 millimeters. The computer thinks there's a car in the way, so it's locking the hydraulics to prevent crushing it. What? No, it's a mechanical failure. Karen interrupted, stomping over. Stop wasting time with the janitor, Riley. Break the arm if you have to. Jack ignored her. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple, flathead screwdriver. He laid on the asphalt. With steady hands, he turned the adjustment screw on the sensor lens a quarter turned to the right. Click. The high-pitched whine stopped. The hydraulics hissed. Slowly, smoothly, the massive iron gate swung open. The traffic started moving. The horn stopped. Riley stood there, wrench in hand, stunned. I was about to tear the whole motor apart. That would have cost 10 grand. Listen to the machine, Jack murmured, standing up and dusting off his knees. It always tells you where it hurts. You just have to listen. Karen stared at the open gate, then at Jack. She didn't say thank you. She narrowed her eyes. You got lucky, she snapped. And you're filthy. Go clean the pool filters. The gala is tomorrow, and I don't want to see you. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place on Friday morning. Jack was polishing the glass in the security control room. Miller, the young guard, was panicking. The main server screen was flashing red. System failure. Boot error. No, no, no. Miller typed frantically. Come on. The camera feed is down. If Karen finds out, I'm dead. Jack paused his polishing. He looked at the scrolling code on the screen. It's a kernel panic, Jack said. Miller looked at him. What? The update corrupted the boot sequence, Jack said. He set his spray bottle down. Move. Miller hesitated, but something in Jack's tone made him obey. He slid his chair over. Jack sat down. His rough, calloused fingers flew across the keyboard. He didn't use the mouse. He opened the command line terminal. Sudo system till restart daemon. grep I error /var /log/syslog. He typed lines of code that Miller had never seen. You know Linux? Miller whispered. I set up SATCOM. Networks in valleys where the only signal was. What we brought with us, Jack muttered. There. I bypassed the corrupted file. It's rebooting. The screen flashed green. System online. Cameras popped back up. Miller looked at the janitor with wide, terrified eyes. Who are you? Jack just winked, picked up his spray bottle, and sprayed the screen. Just the guy who cleans the windows, kid. Keep your eyes on the monitors. Then, Saturday came. The day of the annual gala. The weather forecast had warned of a severe electrical supercell. But Karen ignored it. The gala is indoors, she told the staff. We proceed as planned. At 4 p.m., the sky turned a bruised purple. The wind picked up, tearing branches off the oak trees. At 6 p.m., just as the board members and VIP residents were gathering in the glass-walled clubhouse, lightning struck the main transformer outside the community. The explosion shook the ground. Kingswood Estates went dark. But it got worse. The clubhouse was equipped with automatic hurricane shutters. When the power died, the fail-safe triggered. Heavy steel shutters slammed down over the windows and doors, locking Karen and the entire board inside. And the air conditioning died. In minutes, the glass clubhouse became a sealed greenhouse. With 200 people inside and no ventilation, the temperature started rising rapidly. Panic set in. Inside, people were screaming. Open the doors. We can't breathe. The electronic locks are dead. Someone yelled. We're trapped. Karen was banging on the glass. Call 911. No signal. A board member cried. The storm knocked out the cell tower. Outside, the rain was coming down sideways. It was a monsoon. Jack was in the maintenance shed, putting away his mop. He saw the lights die. He heard the shutters slam. He didn't run for cover. He ran toward the danger. He found Riley and Miller huddled in the guard shack, terrified. The backup generator didn't kick on. Riley yelled over the thunder. The board is trapped in there. The oxygen levels are going to drop fast with that many people. They're going to suffocate. Why isn't the generator running? Jack barked. The transfer switch is rusted shut. We tried to force it, but the handle broke off. Jack grabbed a sledgehammer and a heavy crowbar from the tool wall. Follow me. He didn't look like a janitor now. His posture changed. He moved with the terrifying speed of a soldier who had breached compounds under fire. They ran through the mud and rain to the generator room behind the clubhouse. Riley stripped the lead wire on the starter. Miller, hold the flashlight steady. Do not shake. Jack swung the sledgehammer, smashing the rusted lock on the control panel. Clang. He ripped the metal cover off with his bare hands, slicing his palm. He didn't flinch. The circuit board is fried, Jack shouted, looking at the scorched electronics. We have to hotwire the main intake manually. That's 400 volts, Jack. Riley screamed, pointing at the wet floor. If you touch that bus bar while standing in this water, it'll kill you. Only if I hesitate, Jack growled. Give me the crowbar. Jack braced his rubber boots against a dry patch of concrete. He took a deep breath. He jammed the crowbar across the copper terminals to bridge the connection. Sparks showered over him like a welder's torch. The smell of ozone filled the air. His muscles strained, veins popping in his neck as he fought the resistance of the massive machine. He gritted his teeth. Hold it. Just hold it. Wham chug chug. The massive diesel engine roared to life. Black smoke pumped into the air. The lights in the clubhouse flickered on. The ventilation fans roared. The electronic locks clicked open. The shutters began to rise. Jack slumped against the wall, dropping the crowbar. His hands were shaking from the adrenaline. Inside, the residents stumbled out into the rain, gasping for cool air, soaked in sweat and terrified. Karen ran out, her makeup running, her dress ruined. She saw Jack standing by the generator, smoke rising from his gloves, his face smeared with grease and soot. She marched up to him, panting. You, she gasped. You? Took long enough. It was getting hot in there. Riley stepped forward, furious. Are you kidding me? He just saved your life. He hotwired a high-voltage generator in the rain. He could have died. Karen regained her composure, straightening her dress. That's his job, she snapped. Clean up this mess, Jack, and get this generator fixed properly. The governor is still expected to arrive. Jack looked at her. He didn't say a word. He just stared at her with eyes that were cold and calculating. He nodded once, then walked away into the rain. The reveal. The next morning, the sun shone on Kingswood Estates. The storm had washed everything clean. The rescheduled gala brunch was set to begin at 10 a.m. Karen stood at the podium in the clubhouse. She had recovered her arrogance. The residents were seated, murmuring about the night before. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen smiled, her voice bright and fake. Despite the unfortunate technical difficulties last night, we are resilient. And today, I have a special announcement. We are welcoming the new owner of the Kingswood Management Group, who has flown in from D.C. to inspect our community. Please welcome General Jack Sterling. The double doors at the back of the room opened. Karen looked towards the door, expecting a man in a suit. General Sterling? From the back of the room, a deep voice boomed. I'm already here. The crowd turned. Walking out from the kitchen area, where the staff entrance wasn't a man in a suit. It was Jack, but he wasn't wearing his dirty cargo pants or his hoodie. He was wearing the full, dressed blue uniform of a retired Army colonel promoted to brigadier general upon retirement. His chest was heavy with medals, the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart. The stars on his shoulders caught the light. He walked down the aisle. His polished boots clicked on the floor he had mopped yesterday. The silence was absolute. You could hear a pin drop. Riley dropped his coffee cup. Miller's jaw hit the floor. Sarah covered her mouth. Karen turned pale white. She gripped the podium. You're the janitor. Jack stepped up to the podium. Karen backed away, trembling, hitting the wall. I am General Jack Sterling, he said. His voice was calm, but it filled the room without a microphone. And for the last week, I have been your janitor. I have cleaned your toilets. I have fixed your gates. And I have audited your books. He pulled a thick folder from his uniform jacket and tossed it onto the podium. It landed with a heavy thud. Sarah, Jack looked at the young accountant in the front row. She shrank back. You were right about the vendor codes, Jack said gently. Thank you for your honesty. You are the only person in that office with integrity. Sarah let out a breath she had been holding. Riley, Jack looked at the mechanic. You're a brilliant mechanic, son. You just needed a boss who listened to the machine, not her ego. You're promoted to head of facilities, effective immediately. Miller, he looked at the guard. Stop playing Zelda on your shift. But good work holding that flashlight in the storm. You kept your nerve. Then, Jack turned to Karen. She was shaking violently. General, I didn't know. I was just trying to maintain standards. You didn't know because you never looked, Jack said, his voice dropping to an icy whisper. You treated a man like trash because he held a mop. You ignored safety protocols to buy office furniture. You stole from these residents using shell companies. And last night, your incompetence and greed nearly killed your entire board of directors. He pointed to the folder. This is a termination notice, Karen, for you, and for the 3 board members who signed off on those fake invoices. Karen started to sob. You can't do this. I run this place. Not anymore, Jack said. He nodded to the back of the room. 2 police officers stepped in. The police are here to discuss the $200,000 missing from the reserve fund, Jack said. Karen was led away in handcuffs, wailing, past the residents she had terrorized for years. Jack looked out at the silent room. He adjusted his cuff. Kingswood, he said, true leadership isn't about the title on your door or the suit you wear. It's about serving the people who trust you. From now on, things are going to be different around here. He looked at Riley and winked. But first, someone needs to fix that printer. 6 months later, Kingswood was unrecognizable. The gates worked perfectly. The security cameras were active. The budget was balanced, and the fees actually went down. General Sterling didn't stay on as the day-to-day manager. He hired a professional team for that. But he kept the small house at the end of the street. He still drove his old 1998 Ford truck. He still wore his cargo pants on the weekends. And sometimes, if you walk by early in the morning, you'd see him picking up trash on the sidewalk or helping a neighbor fix a leaky pipe. Not because he had to, but because it was his neighborhood. And everyone, from the mailman to the millionaire, waved at him with deep respect. Because they knew the truth now. The man with the broom might just be the most powerful man in the room. Respect isn't given to a uniform or a suit. It's earned by how you treat people when you think no one is watching. Never look down on the hands that do the dirty work. They might be the only ones strong enough to save you. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more military and veteran stories. We bring you true tales of karma and justice. Until next time, stay safe and watch out for the quiet ones.